Guys, alright. Real quick, short one. Christmas night. We're down with multiple holidays at this point. We're coming into Kwanzaa. I guess in about an hour, it's going to be the 26th officially of December. So I'm kind of planning on what I'm going to do for my own Kwanzaa celebration time. Mostly I've been studying a lot about Black culture. Got some of my own traditional native language to learn, and the other day I was kind of exploring more about the country of Haiti and, the uprising against the enslavers and how they won against them and then got screwed over by them in the U.S., by the French in the U.S. And, it did kind of get me thinking. This is not a very Christmassy thought, but it did kind of get me thinking, how many countries, tribes, groups, ethnicities, did the U.S. and other types of colonizer types of people, the U.S., England, France, Spain, how many countries did these others, make these crazy kind of agreements with, where they were going to be indebted? I don't know, I don't know, it bothers me when there's like a lack of consciousness or a lack of people showing that they care, for or about any kind of different kind of groups. Just the exploitative nature. And then, I constantly struggle with this whole, what's my role in this, because I'm really into technology, I don't constantly ignore what's going on in the Democratic Republic of Congo, what's gone on in many villages where there's oil drilled. I still drive a car. I still have an iPhone. I still use a laptop. I still use goods made in potentially, not so high integrity of factory settings. I don't really know that for sure, but I'm speculating that I'm pretty certain, that, not everything I buy, I don't check and see, if it says made in China. Well, who makes these, and what's this factory, and what's that brand? And, there have been so many things that are now branded where people have them on Amazon Marketplace. There's so much competition. I was getting my mom for a gift, for her gardening tools, a little tool belt for those, but for like gardening supplies, like a little one that just snaps in the back, kind of like a fanny pack, but like it has like little slots in the front for like gardening tools, gloves, a little rake, whatever, phone, whatever you want to put in there. It was made by some brand. I can't remember. It means poop in Japanese. Unko. But I think it was spelled UNCO. And I think in Japanese it technically would use K. But they have their own letters. It would have been whatever ko is. I don't know how to spell ko anymore. But it means poop. But I didn't go and look that up and be like, okay, where was this made? I don't know if it was made in China. I'm assuming. And somebody just never checked on the phonetic sound of that name, what it means in Japanese, but maybe they did check and just don't care. But yeah, I never looked into that company to see like, oh, who's making this and what's the factory like, and like, it would be possible. Like if I cared, it would be possible. And it's like, on the one end, it's like, yeah, I'm not the one creating these companies or, brushing away the lack of integrity. But if I'm supporting them blindly, when I know there's potential for wrongdoing, and I'm still buying their stuff so they can make a profit and continue their work, I just, I grapple with those things. Like, I don't think I'm really losing sleep over it. But I do, live a bit of a privileged life to some extent. Everyone wants to often say, like, how they're, victimized, how they're, experiencing difficulties and prejudice, which I wouldn't say I don't experience any of that ever, or never have, or never will. I'm of multiple minority groups. It just, all that kind of stuff just comes with the territory. But at the same time, it's like, I live in LA, in a decently nice beach city area of LA, or at least was raised around here. I lived in San Diego for quite a while. Saved a lot of money. Was making decent money, but there was just no way to move up from there. Not in the way that I saw best for myself. But, I'm not trying to be all, like, depressing about it, but, it's kind of something that it's kind of been on my mind. And when I watch content about people who are scammers and then they're getting scam baited, or, like, other people who are trying to do some kind of crazy, like, predatory things, like, against elders or kids or trafficking or whatever they're trying to do, I'm not watching it because I'm like, because I don't agree with people doing any of that kind of stuff, but I like that it's being exposed on the internet, that people are exposing it. Part of me is like, get educated about it, but I try not to get sucked into the stories. Like, part of me always goes to, I want to hear what these, evildoers, what these scammers, what these people who are about to get arrested or who are doing illegal things, I want to hear what they have to say about it. Like, that to me is one of the more important things. I'm usually feeling like, I want to hear what they say, And it's like, there's no answer. I think I'm coming to the conclusion that there's no answer that's good enough, which is why I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch another one and see if this next person says something that makes more sense, because I'm trying to figure out this mindset. And I think part of me has figured out that, if you just don't look, and you can lie to yourself about stuff, but if you just don't look, and think too deeply about it, it's kind of scary the things people get themselves into. But people can't even answer simple questions. They're always lying about stuff. Even when there's proof, like written proof, audio proof, they can play it back to the people. And they still, oh, I wasn't going to pick up the money. Oh, I'm not going to get a cut, of this cash. Oh, I don't know the guy. I don't know the person. I don't know. This is my first time ever doing this. You always hear them saying these same things. One of the guys, he was there to pick up money from an old man, $30,000 or $13,000 or some extravagant 5-figure number of cash from this old man. That was what he was planning to do, saying it was his first time ever doing it, probably gonna get 100, 200, 250 out of it. Currently working as a dishwasher, trying to make some money, didn't know what he was gonna do with the money. Maybe save it to buy something he wanted. Had gone a couple times before with some of his friends to do it, so he says, but had never actually done it himself. And he mentions, I watch Trilogy Media. He knew Skeeter John. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name. Skeeter Gene. It's spelled like Gene. He knew those guys. He knew that those guys go after people who are trying to take advantage. He knew that. He recognized them. Meaning he watches that kind of content of people getting busted doing these things. He knows it's wrong, yet he still decided to go try to do it and try to get some money, and he got caught. And for a lot of them, it takes a while for them to actually mention that they feel bad. A lot of them try to blame, well, why was that person on that site? Well, why, they try to make excuses, act stupid and oh, I didn't know. I thought I was just picking up drugs. I didn't think it was money. I thought I was taking drugs from one place to another. They didn't tell me what was going to be in it, And a lot of these people have been, I don't know, it's kind of weird because, we hear a lot about scammers from India, scammers from Nigeria, but these guys mostly catch people in LA, and there's a wide range of people that are trying to participate in these scams. They go to other states and stuff too to bust people, and it's just not cool, I never thought it was cool that people are trying to get over on others, trying to do stuff, but then it's when they get caught, that's when they're like, oh, I'm gonna change my ways, or it's they'll do it till they get caught, and then even after the fact, some of them are repeat offenders. They've been caught before, and it's just I just can't understand it. But I'm saying, I'm not saying I never do anything wrong, I don't think I go to that extent, but I would say that I do turn a blind eye to, where my products, where they're from, how they're made, how are those people being treated, how are they being impacted, and, my head's I got some gears turning, my head's kind of problem solving stuff, which is fine. I'm not upset or anything. I'm just I wasn't sure if I was going to record anything today, because I'm it's Christmas, but I'm I don't really know. I had this weird backache last night. It was really, all that garage work caught up with me. And last night I lost sleep because it was so bad. I was up at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning with that pain. And little by little, I've been taking more and more, not more and more CBD, but every few hours just taking some more. So I honestly had a lot of that in my system today. So I can't really tell for sure if the pain is just totally decreasing a lot or if I finally got to a level where I have so much CBD in me. But I was trying to save that CBD for like 100 something days, and now it's like because of this injury I've taken so much of it, I'm gonna be low. I got it for $16. It was half off for like 100 milligrams of CBD. And for those of you who purchase CBD, that's a pretty good rate. Like, it's really hard to get 100 milligrams under like 30 something bucks in a tincture. Like, usually they cost like 30, 35, 40, 50. This one doesn't really have any THC. It's got like trace amounts, but nothing that's really going to get you high like that. You might test positive if you take a drug test, but it's not going to get you high. It's like less than 0.3 milligrams of THC, which is like nothing. So it's not even half. Is it less than 0.3 or less than 0.03? Either way, it's a very small amount. If any. But yeah, like, I think my Christmas went well. My back's been showing a lot of improvement. I can kind of sit up now. I sat down for a while on the couch. So that's a big improvement because, by yesterday afternoon, I was not able to sit down at all. I could only lay down, and even rolling from like one side or the other, or laying on my back or laying on my stomach. Nothing was comfortable last night. It was all just like pain. And then it got to a point today where it was only hurting when I moved. And now it's kind of at a point where it's very like localized. But I really don't know if it's just the CBD. I'm hoping it's actually like healing. Because I really don't want to deal with this longer than is necessary. I'm hoping that maybe one more day and I can just get on with my week. Because guys, dude, I've had like 3 whole weeks of like just nonsense. And then like 2 like hardcore days of like, I just messed up. I should have taken it easy. But it felt good to have the energy. It's like, man, I had 3 weeks without having like energy because of COVID, and my brain was super foggy. It still is, but it's not as bad. And I was like, I can at least do manual tasks. But yeah, I ended up overdoing it, unfortunately. And it's crazy that, in my Friday group, we had just talked about this of like, don't go too hard on doing stuff because you might overdo it and have to take some days off. And that's what I'm experiencing now. It's a soreness of like a pulled something. I don't even know. But I wasn't aware that I was that out of shape from the last few weeks. I just was like, in my head, I was like, I'm just cleaning, like it's not like a big deal. Like, I did lift some stuff, some kind of heavy stuff, but not really. Like, compared to other stuff I've done, I don't know. I always kind of compare myself to other stuff I've done. And I think I need to just like, I didn't take time to like assess where I'm at now. I just jumped in based on my energy instead of like, what can my body actually handle? Because my mind was kind of handling it, but my body was definitely not on the same page. And I just kept going because I was like, well, I can push. Because I'm used to like a little bit of gym here and there, and then, I can push. And then like, well, so what if I'm a little sore? But I pushed and pushed and pushed, and now I'm like past a little sore. Now I'm like definitely injured. So I'm like, dang it, that was not the plan. So I'm a little annoyed that I'm, gonna have to just wait for this to subside. I'll maybe be a little bit, like maybe 1 or 2 days behind in my planning. All the stuff I need to sell. I never got the photos taken because I was so sore yesterday, and but all the laundry's done mostly. I don't know. Watched the second episode of Halo, ate a lot. We had a nice big dinner, and some pretty good brunch. Just a simple, simple time together, catching up with a little bit of family and friends. Like, it was fun. I had a good time. Spent a total of $10. I'm down with it. We try not to break the bank over here. We're not, in it for that. We're just here to, have an excuse to kind of have something festive go on. It's like, might as well set the time aside. I wouldn't necessarily say I celebrate Christmas. I participate in the family togetherness part of it, and that's kind of where I draw the line. I know it's not Jesus' birthday, so it's kind of like, I don't even know what to say about that. And I mean, yeah, it's like, okay, well, it's the day that Jesus' birthday celebrated. Like, okay. And I'm not against paganism either. Like, I know there's a lot of pagan roots. I'm not against paganism. I'm actually trying to understand it. There's a part of me that likes, ancient cultures that came from different ethnicities before Christianity came along. I guess the thing is about Judaism is that I don't think they push for converts. I don't really know. It seems to me that Chabad might push for converts within Judaism to come to Chabad. I don't fully know that either. I'm not so educated on that. So that's just my own interpretation of what I've gathered. It does not mean that I'm accurate in saying that. I have no proof other than just what I observe. Seems that that's what I'm observing. Maybe it's because they have like a form of outreach where they kind of like try to encourage people to do different mitzvahs. So like with tefillin and like other types of things, like you see them kind of go out to kind of like help people do a mitzvah or help people, find a place for Shabbat, or help people like, find, a place to participate in like different holy days, like the ones that are like mandatory in the religion. And they kind of help people do, like, follow the commandments, and they kind of, engage with Jews, other Jews, more often, it seems like, than other groups I've seen. But that's why I'm saying that. I don't really know if that's their intention. I don't know what the intention behind that is. Maybe it's selfless. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it from being raised in a Christian lens, that whenever we were going out to hand out water or whatever, there was always some kind of like, hopefully we get more people to come to the church kind of mentality, which I never was okay with. I was like, if we're going to do it, let's just do it. Like, who cares if they come to church or not? They're busy doing their own things. But I don't know. I'm not like against Christmas. It's part of a religious culture that I came from, but it's kind of like almost kind of twisted around from other cultures that I don't come from. So it's kind of like a weird holiday for me. Like, the more I've learned about it, it's kind of like I'm kind of back and forth between, like, do I celebrate, do I not? But, I take pictures. Like, sometimes we have a tree. We had a tree this year, like a fake one, and decorate and stuff. And, like, I took some pictures of the decorations and sent them out and, made sure to wish people a Merry Christmas and stuff. Like, I feel like I know what it means to them for me to say that. Not that I'm, like, some all-powerful friend or whatever, but it's like, some people I know probably only hear that from me, or might be hurt if I didn't wish them a Merry Christmas. Because they would think, oh, like, you weren't thinking about me. And I know they don't have anybody around the holidays. And so I'm not saying I go out of my way for everybody to wish them a Merry Christmas. Some of them, I'm like, I'll wait and see if they say it first. And if they say it first, then I'll say it back. Because there's just so much of it, It's like all day, like, everybody, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. I actually started on Christmas Eve. I was like, let me start sending these messages early. And I did a few messages before lunch and then a few after dinner. And then after that, I was like, I'm done. But I used to send them to even more people. Now I only send them to the people that I kind of routinely talk to, which is still apparently quite a lot of people. But this is a good time of year to kind of catch up with people. A lot of people are taking days off or having days free from work and stuff. So it's a good time to kind of catch up a little bit, see what people are up to, say what's up. But I don't know, I've been, other than that, I couldn't get up to way too much today. I watched a lot of stuff that I was like, I want to watch this because I want to think about these concepts, like what's going on here, I mean, it's becoming an abundant thing with these scams, prevalent, maybe that's the better word. It's just getting out of control. Too many people are opting into it as something that they find as a viable opportunity against poverty and the economy. I mean, it's not the way. I understand that some people don't even eat well. I understand that. But it gets to a point where it's like, I can kind of, I'm not justifying it, like people stealing from other people, but it's like, I can almost see it if it's like, okay, you've got nowhere to live, you've got nothing to eat. I mean, also, that's not someone else's fault for them to have to pay for someone out of a scam, for someone else to have to get scammed out of their money, but it's also not, I think people need a lot of help these days, and the help isn't there. I know a lot of people that try to get help, for things, and it just doesn't go that smoothly. It's not easy for them at all. So, I don't know, like, I think it's a bad move. I think it's a bad move to like, I guess, avoid or not look too deeply at all of our decisions. That's why I was like, okay, am I a part of the problem? Like, I'm not online actively creating, like, Amazon scams. I'm not applying to jobs where I know I'm scamming people. I'm not working in a way that I know other people are getting scammed. At the end of the day, I feel sometimes like I'm the one getting scammed, in all honesty. It's kind of hard to find a leg up lately, but, um, you know, I've got opportunities right now that can lead to something. I really don't know what. It's hard for me to think big anymore, to be honest. I did that once in a doctoral program, and I don't know. I don't know if that was thinking big. When I look at it, I'm like, it was almost small, because it was something that I'm not saying everyone feels this way, but for me, it was like, I could settle into this and do it, and there's like a method to go about it where I could potentially be making six figures and just doing that and retire in it in private practice or something. But I was like, I really don't want to do this. If I'm going to make a business, I don't want it to be a psychology business. I mean, it's honorable, it's a good job, it's good work. I just, I knew I was going to not want to do it anymore, and I don't want to do it anymore. Therefore, I stopped. And I'm almost at the year mark where I stopped that job. I think on the 30th, that'll be my commemorative date of my last day working at that old job. So it'll be a year. And if I think of how far I've come in a year, I've got my health on a better track. I've lost quite a bit of weight. I'm cooking more now. Not now. I mean, if I take out the last 3 weeks, let me minus up till, the end of November, because once everything happened after Comic-Con with the COVID stuff, things just kind of weren't on track from there. There was no way to keep it. So I was like working out and like doing everything I needed. That wasn't going to happen. So we're starting the 4th week, and my 4th week is starting out with this back situation. So as much as I'm trying, there's definitely, a lot that I'm having to recover from that's slowing me way down. But I think I needed to be slowed down this month. It's really helped me gather a lot of my thoughts and like reevaluate a lot of stuff. Evaluating some stuff with certain people, with certain plans, with certain hobbies, with certain interests, certain projects. And just some of the ways I want to be, like adjusting some certain ways of how I am. Like none of it's going to be overnight, You don't start, a nutrition plan and go from eating whatever you were eating to like all of a sudden you eat one healthy meal and now you're healthy. You don't go to the gym once after being sedentary for like months on end and then all of a sudden you're in top shape. And even with working on other stuff, if I'm working on stuff for myself, I'm not gonna see the results right away. But even in this last like 3 weeks, just sitting there, like I wasn't focused on it the whole time. Like I was definitely napping or watching movies or not even like mentally like sharp enough to really be like thinking through stuff. But I really have been in this like evaluation process, and I try to think not so much like what would other people think of me kind of thing, like I care what they think of me, like I'm changing for other people, but more like what does it look like in the mirror, or if I could see myself the way that certain other people see me, what are they getting? What's the impression they're getting? What do they think is happening when I'm doing this or that or saying this or that? How does that impact them? How are other people impacted by me? certain people, like specific people. And with some people it seems simple, and with other people it seems pretty complex. But it's gonna be a continual work in progress. Like, I'm never gonna be like some perfect individual, but I like to strive toward good, even though I know I'm gonna have struggles along the way, but I also want to own up to them and not be like making excuses. I understand that being a part of capitalism leads to being a part of a worldwide problem. I understand that. But I also know that at this moment, I'm not trying to plan to go live off the grid and like make my own stuff. Not like that, necessarily. But I am getting a little more into certain stuff, certain natural things. I'm pretty pleased with that, like, I'm really into the idea of it. So it's gonna happen. I just gotta wait for the right time. It's soon. I think near the 7th of January, I'll be buying some certain things. So before then, I've got some sales to finish, and I've got some spaces to finish cleaning and some other stuff to kind of organize, make a couple purchases, or see if I can find stuff around the house. I need some shelving. So I don't know where I'm gonna find shelving. But we might have it somewhere in the house. So if I can find some extra shelving, that would be really nice. If not, I'll try and buy something really, really cheap. But I might be able to find something. And I don't really know, but I might. I found these freezer trays, these giant freezer trays that I could technically stack and maybe use those temporarily, but I feel like if I'm just going to use that, I might as well just go buy something. So, I don't really know, but yeah, that's kind of my food for thought for Christmas. I mean, it's all over the place as usual, but I had a good day. I'm glad that I'm feeling a lot better. That's cheering me up more than anything. And I feel like I've come into some realizations about some things. So I feel kind of good about that too. And I'll probably just, I don't know, I should be asleep already. It's like after 11. Probably gonna wake up a little late tomorrow again. Why not? I do need to go shopping for some products. I was gonna do that tomorrow, but it sounds more like I'm gonna do it on Wednesday. So I might wait till Wednesday, even though I don't want to wait till Wednesday. I might wait till Wednesday. And I've got a report I need to submit by the end of the week. Yeah, so that's about what I'm gonna get up to. And don't have too much else to really contribute today. I just wanted to post something for Christmas. So here it is. It's not very Christmassy, but I feel like, if you want Christmassy, you can find it everywhere else pretty much. Like, I've spoken kind of like my Christmas thinking, my Christmas thoughts. This is kind of what came out of me on Christmas. So, uh, I like to think about the state of the world and my role in it. It's very complex. It's very complex, and but pretty optimistic. And I need to go to bed because I'm getting tired. That's about all I've got to say for now. Hopefully you guys had a good one, and if you're still celebrating more holidays, we'll talk about those a little bit more too. The upcoming ones for the end of the year, starting a new year. Yeah, hope all is good. Wishing you all well.